What's up, everybody? We are here with Cues with the Beauts. Alexis came up with that name. I like it. I dig it. Cues with the Beauts. Like,
it was a shower epiphany. I was thinking about like what we could maybe call this. Like, I was like,
I like how we're all kind of bobbing our heads,
yeah.
like Cues with the Beauts. Like, there should be some sort of like jingle that goes with this.
Fred's gonna whip up a little graphic for it. It's gonna be slick. Yeah, it's gonna be
Overtime's already taken, so we got to do something like this.
Yeah, exactly. This is coming to you exclusively on our YouTube channel. We still record it on our recording days, but we just thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little one-off, kind of how the Power Trip does their little after hours thing. This is our Beauts after hours, Cues with the Beauts. So, producer Fred, yes, if you will, what questions we got this week? What cues we got this week?
We got a good cue from Joe Bouley. He asked, what was the best team you've ever covered for whatever reason? Maybe the locker room was fun. Maybe the team had crazy success. Maybe there was so much controversy around it that every day something new happened. So what was your favorite team and year to cover?
Alexis, you want to go first?
Sure. I would have to say that this is a tough question because, again, both Jesse and I cover hockey at so many different levels. Like, it's hard to pick just one team. I would probably have to say that the 2018-2019 Whitecaps was probably my favorite team to cover, just because there was so many things surrounding that season that made it exciting. Their first season in the league, they win the Isabel Cup championship. It was my first season calling, calling games for a professional hockey team, which was a huge goal of mine. There was just so much newness around it. The team was so good. They were so fun to watch. And then winning the Isabel Cup championship at the end just kind of topped off the entire season of that. So that one is definitely one that comes to my mind first. Obviously, I love covering the Wild as well for different reasons, but I've only been, with them for a couple seasons, and they haven't really had any outstanding seasons since I've been with them. So I'm going to go with the Whitecaps just because of all the things that surrounded that season that made it so memorable. I'll never forget that season for the rest of my career.
I'm going to take it back to my college days, actually, because like you said, Alexis, the Wild haven't done a whole lot. I mean, the playoffs it's a whole new animal, and it's so exciting. Yeah. So the 2 seasons that I've been covering that the Wild made the playoffs, those were great despite the early exit. But I'm going to go back to college when I covered Cyclone hockey my senior year, which was 2009-2010. And Cyclone hockey is a part of Division I ACHA hockey, which is club hockey, but still really competitive. If you've never seen a club hockey game, I know there's quite a few club teams here in Minnesota. The University of Minnesota has one too. It's actually really good hockey, really fun hockey. Iowa State was no different. So Cyclone hockey went to the national championships in Rochester, New York, made it all the way to the championship. We're kind of the Cinderella story because they weren't projected to do super well. Forced overtime to get to the championship finals. I was actually able to do some on-ice calling, which was the first time in my career I was doing a lot of play-by-play and color as well. So that was just kind of a really exciting moment, and then did some live TV action. Cyclone hockey unfortunately lost in the championship, but still it was a really, really cool run. Because we were in New York, I got to go up to New York City for a day. I took the mega bus, headed out there, checked it out. So just the whole experience. And obviously being in college and covering, some of my friends too at the time who were all my age, and I love college hockey. So you could see it was so great to see the excitement and joy and jubilee to get the championship. And then that defeat was kind of tough.
Well, I know, Jesse, that you probably feel similar because you have some job experiences like this as well, but like for me covering high school sports, we cover so many different teams, so it's not like we follow one team for that entire season. Right. It's like the TV station that I work for, we have like 5 or 6 coverage schools that we regularly cover throughout the season. So it's not just one team or one school that we're covering. We see a lot, and then obviously we see all of their opponents pretty regularly, and in the metro area and in the outside the metro area. And so it's hard to pick just one team because a lot of times I might only see that team for 5 games in the season or 6 games in the season. So as far as like following one team from beginning of the season to the end, the only experience I have with that is the Whitecaps and the Wild. So it kind of narrows down my choice as far as that goes. I definitely have seen some very exciting games that have stuck out for better or for worse. But yeah, as far as the whole season goes, college is good. That's a good throwback. I know I went to St. Cloud, so the Huskies, the men's team was always really good, but never good in the postseason. They're like the college version of the Wild. Like, they were always expected to like be really good. Or maybe I should even say like the Capitals, like had great regular seasons and could just never make it in the playoffs. They had so many,
and I would pick them every year too. I'm like, oh, this is why I can't do it.
They had so many seasons where it was like this, there's no way this year that they lose to this team. They had one season where they like were massively upset by Air Force Academy in the playoffs, and I was at Applebee's when it happened, and like no one expected
Who goes
them
to
to
Applebee's.
me.
Ew.
Okay, just don't start with me. I found out like when I was there, I was like watching the game on the TV and like following along, and I had friends on the team and stuff, and like they got massively upset, and I was just like, oh, you guys, every year you do this to us. So
have you ever covered a team that had a lot of controversy swirling around it that I like that part of Joe's question as well.
I suppose you could say the Whitecaps, and not controversy as in like they were doing something wrong, but just the whole like women's hockey and like trying to get attention to women's sports and like the battle for like, you know, people saying things about women's hockey and trying to shut that down. So like not controversy as far as like things were happening in the locker room that, you know, people were saying stuff, like not like that at all, but just the way people, you know, experience women's hockey and respond to women's hockey. Definitely we dealt with a little bit of that and still do. I mean, with the team before the shutdown, and it's going to be that way for a while. Unfortunately, there's always going to be people like that. So I would say that's the closest. I can't really think of anything else that sticks out where it was like, oh, I can't believe that player did that or that team did that. I mean, do you have anything like that?
When I was out in Syracuse covering lacrosse for the Syracuse Division I men's team, I want to say there was a transfer that I think there was a big issue with. And this was like kind of my first real beat writing role. I had been working like or city council and kind of not getting into sports. So I was back into sports finally. And I think there was an issue with a transfer. And then I want to say there was some partying going on too. And then there was a lot of injuries. So that was a very tumultuous season. And mind you, I'm totally out of my element. So I just kind of jumped on out and was like, all right, here we go. I hated it. I don't like covering controversy because I hate pestering people's questions. That's why I got out of news, because I just would rather not. But it's part of the job. So great question, Joe. That's all the questions we have for this week on Cues with the Beauts. We appreciate it. If you have more questions, drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. These will be released every week in conjunction with our episode. Thanks for having us. That's it.